What's up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Top 10. Going live right now for our $10 and above patrons. I am the Outlaw John Rocha.
And I am Matt Knost. Welcome into another week of movie discussion here on the Top 10. Why are you grimacing?
There we go.
Just trying to get your world situated.
Yeah, trying to get the world situated. So we're back to have a fun conversation, count down the top 10 films of Ralph Fiennes, who has the menu coming out this weekend. Is that correct? As we're recording this,
it comes out next weekend. Well, yeah, the weekend after this drops.
Exactly. Yeah. For the people who are live, it comes out next week, and for the people who are listening to this on Tuesday, it comes out this weekend. I'm excited to see it. The trailers have been good. I love Anya Taylor-Joy as an actress, so great to see her being a part of this, and Nicholas Hoult as well. So yeah, looks fun. Another weird, unusual film, which Ralph Fiennes loves to do in his repertoire of movies, for sure.
And it's nice to see him as the lead in a movie, as opposed to, I mean, if you go and look at his resume, there's, I would say, almost over half he does a small part in a great film. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But he seems to constantly choose, I can show up and be a part of this amazing project, and I only have to devote a scant amount of time compared to everybody else. Fantastic. Right. And then I move right along. Which leads to an interesting filmography. I mean, it runs the board of all kinds of different styles. I mean, he's
for sure
played in numerous genres at this point. Because it's weird when you look at the start of his career, you thought it was going to be more Day-Lewis-y.
Yeah.
And now 20 some odd years later, when you're looking back on it and be like, wow, the varied projects that you've signed on to over the years is kind of impressive.
Yeah, agreed. 1,000. I mean, like, from Shakespeare to Harry Potter to Lego Batman movie to fucking Holmes and Watson to In Bruges, so many it's Wes Anderson stuff. There's so many things that decorate his resume with some fantastic performances, and also just like he seems to be a guy who doesn't put on airs if he's willing to be in these kinds of comedies that are out there and weird and goofy, and so you kind of respect someone who doesn't take himself that seriously.
I thought he was going to be self-important and pompous his entire career. For lack of better words, I never really felt he was pompous, but you know what I mean. The poshest of posh actors is where I thought his trajectory was going to be, and now looking at it all these years later, it's like, now this guy is more than willing to poke fun at himself or take less glamorous roles in service of the story as a whole, the greater good.
Agreed.
And God bless him for it. I think it's just a sign of confidence and choosing interesting projects as opposed to choosing things that put him always in the best light and at the forefront.
Agreed. Matthew Hasso is here. He says, hey, what's going on? Live with us. He says, I don't want to go outside and then come back inside and find you hiding in the oven cupboard. There you go. Good line there. How are things on your end, Matt? What's going on? What's the update here as we kibitz for the first few minutes here before we get into our lists?
We do have Charles's list for the Vegas show.
Oh, we do. We finally got that. Yes, let's hear it.
We finally got that. So last week we did movie set in Vegas, and that was submitted to us, the topic idea from our patron Charles Clark, and we didn't get his list by the time we recorded, so we have it this week for you. So here's what he's got. From Charles Clark. Says, hello, Matt and John.
Yo.
Sin City is a city that always makes itself larger than life, which makes it a great setting for the big screen.
Agreed.
Here are my top 10 movies set in the city. At 10, he's got Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Oh, right after Matt's heart. Okay, go ahead.
At 9, Get Him to the Greek.
Oh, yeah, I don't think it was in that much of Vegas, which is why I didn't include it, but that's a good choice.
It's a fun movie. That movie is way better than I ever thought it was going to be.
Yeah, no doubt. Considering it's an offshoot of Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yeah.
It's really surprising how good that movie is, actually. And Elizabeth Moss is kind of funny and awkward and weird in that film as well.
Shit, Puff Daddy is good in that movie.
Oh, Puff is great in that film.
It's words I never thought I'd be saying aloud.
No doubt. No doubt.
He made his push after the Raisin in the Sun. Like he got into the stage acting.
Yeah, he tried to do some of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Puff is going to try and get into the acting world. And then he did this and was like, there might be a chance for this guy.
Yeah.
At 8, he's got Rango.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
Yep. 7, Swingers.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
6, Bugsy.
Yes. One on my list as well. Yeah.
Sure. 5, Ocean's 11.
Oh, we chose the 11. Okay, fair enough.
The proper choice of the 11-13 debate.
Some might argue,
yeah. Some by some you mean one. One might argue.
Oh, there are quite a few, but it's okay. We can keep going. And next, we're not rehashing this debate. Are we going to rehash this debate?
This ambiguous. A lot of people are saying, "All right, Trump."
Listen, what I hear is a lot of people saying Ocean's 13 is better.
At 4, he's got Leaving Las Vegas.
Yes, good choice.
3, The Hangover.
Yeah.
2, Fright Night.
Yes, one that made both our lists.
Yep. And his number 1 was our number 1, which was Casino.
Yeah, I mean, how can it not be? For God's sakes?
Yeah, you see the underbelly of what that city, the natural evolution from Bugsy.
You also see the underbelly of Joe Pesci in that movie, for God's sakes. Hello. And his tidy whities. He's being dragged into the grave.
James Woods' best casting, in my opinion.
Oh, my God. Between that and Hercules, if we ever did a top 10 James Woods, if we wanted to really appeal to an interesting audience, absolutely Hercules in that role would argue or would battle for number 1, in my opinion, for sure.
But he needs to play a prick. That's what he needs to play. He's phenomenal at it.
He's got that sneer and the bug eyes and the condescending kind of a shaking of the head approach to things. He's good at playing a prick. Yeah.
They always say that the guys that play villains are the nicest people. They're nothing like those characters they play. Jimmy Woods has always seemed like he tapped into the essence of himself when he plays these pricks. I don't know the man. Never met him. Never talked to him.
No, he never wasn't at the Comedy Store or Laugh Factory.
Never met him. Don't know anything about him. That one seems very like he didn't have to stretch himself too far.
Yeah.
Like The Hard Way. That seems very much
Jimmy Woods to me. Right. That's cantankerous.
Yep.
Bothered by everything, doesn't want to work with America's sweetheart, Michael J. Fox. Nope. It just works. You're absolutely right. That makes a lot of sense. He would be good in that. He's a massive prick in Once Upon a Time in America.
Yeah.
Remember that one? Yeah. There is. I mean, you can do 10 with him. We could absolutely.
Oh, yeah, no. He had a run where he was an exceedingly in-demand actor and doing great projects.
I mean, him and Nixon, he was good as Haldeman and Nixon. Whether you like the movie or not, he was good in it. Yeah, there's a lot. Any Given Sunday, right? Played to the bone.
What is he, the doctor that Matthew Modine takes over for him?
Yeah. But back in the 80s, that's where you really, because you got Videodrome, you got Salvador, which a lot of people, Against All Odds, as I said, Once Upon a Time in America. Bestseller, which some people really liked. The Boost, which I personally liked. FX. And then that Robert Downey Jr. one, True Believer, where he's like a crusading liberal attorney, if you could believe it, in that film. And he goes up against Kurtwood Smith. So Dick versus Dick. It's great.
Yeah, but Kurtwood, there's always like this twinkle in the eyes.
I think once he did the 70s show, people were like, okay, he's not really like that.
Agreed. If we're just going on the previous.
RoboCop and Dead Poets, dude, that's a 1-2 punch of like, fuck this guy.
He's like the second best thing in my opinion in Dead Poets.
I guess
Robin.
Yeah. I'd love if you were like, no, Josh Charles. Absolutely. Number 1.
100%.
Robert Sean Leonard. That's my guy.
I wish I liked that movie because it's got an incredible cast.
Yeah. I heard he was a prick though, Robert Sean Leonard. I heard that from a few people. And
really?
He kind of admitted it later in interviews. He was like, I was pretty hung up on myself and cocky about being an actor. And I kind of looked down on movies because I was a theater actor. And he said, I quickly learned, how tough that is to make it in the movie business and stay successful in the movie. Because I'm sure he watches Ethan Hawke and he's like, this motherfucker is still doing it. Or Josh Charles. who's been on successful TV series for quite some time. So, and he was damn good in We Own the City. Oh my God, Josh Charles was fucking excellent in that show. So,
yeah. Did you see the new John Wick trailer?
I did. I watched it this morning. We were out of the house because there was some stuff going on in the house. So I reacted to it in my car outside the Starbucks. I was like, fuck it, I'll give it a shot, see what this looks like. But yeah, I mean, the trailer was badass. What'd you think about it? What? You had Donnie Yen, Hiroyoko Sanada, and fucking Skarsgård as the main villain?
I am not saying I think the movie's not going to be good. I am reserving all judgment because they've proven they can make a really good action film in this franchise. Yeah. Right. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
No, it isn't.
And especially the third one, after 2 coming back with 3 and just crushing it.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, I'm fine with it. But yeah, I thought, it was all right. I wasn't like blown away or anything. Great settings, but
they're going all over the world. It looks like they've really sank money into this one. Like it's high production value from the look of it. The fight sequences look pretty bad. I mean, what the fuck is he doing shooting people in the desert on a camel?
Sure, that looked good, but I mean, that was basically like, okay, we had a motorcycle scene in the last one. How do we do the motorcycle scene? Let's do it in the desert. And
give it camels.
Yeah, get some. Yeah, I don't know. This is just a snap reaction.
Yeah, that's true.
But the all over the world reminds me of 2, and that's where I'm like,
a European guy being the main villain reminds you of 2.
Yeah,
I can understand that. Yeah,
I like the smaller, contained setting where he's just running around one city, having to deal with hundreds of assassins trying to chase him down.
Yeah, but I mean that gets to be a problem too, because then they go, wow, they can't seem to break out of telling the small stories. You can't win. You can't win.
True.
Yeah. I mean, Guy Ritchie, every time he does a gangster film, is there he goes again. And he can't win. No matter what he does in between, he can't fucking win, man.
Yeah, well, it's the price of being successful, I guess.
Yeah, no shit. I'll pay that price, 100%.
You get compared to your previous successes, and then you need to live up to those. It's the burden of success. It's unfortunate, but at the same time, I'm holding out hope.
Yeah,
that it's awesome, and that's my expectation right now.
Too.
Just because I didn't get wowed by the trailer, but at the same time, I don't often watch trailers. It just happened to be on Twitter, and I was like, all right, I'll watch this because it's not going to spoil anything. That's why I don't care if I see that trailer.
Right. Have you seen anything that you liked? Any trailer that you liked? The Glass Onion came out. There was the Devotion trailer with the Korean stuff, the Korean War with Jonathan Majors and Glenn Powell. The Whale had a 1-minute trailer with Brendan Fraser. Did you see?
Didn't watch that because I just want to see that, so I don't want to watch the trailer.
Gotcha. That's so weird to me.
Why? I want to walk in with 0 expectations. I don't want to
judgment. I'm just saying it's weird because I've always, since I can remember, wanted to watch trailers, and even on the DVDs when I would buy them, I'd watch the trailers for the films that I'd only ever seen as films and never knew they were trailers for those films, like the classics, the old ones. So watching those trailers when they're on DVDs just to see how they cut it and pitch it and whatever. But I'm not judging. I'm just saying it's so weird to me.
We're different grades of junkies.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll take whatever kick comes your way. You're like, hey, get that in there. Get that in the veins. I don't care how stepped on that is. Let's go. Whereas I'm like, you know what? I can wait a couple extra minutes.
A high-end junkie, you would say. Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, I don't know how many high-end junkies. Unless you're saying I'm Keith Richards and I just have all the money so I can afford the best stuff.
Just sitting around with the best stuff. Check it, man. Make sure it's good. Fucking Keith. What's the deal? Yeah, here. Good to see Drew Ends in here as well. What are we gonna do? What are we doing here in the world of basketball here, Matt Knost? What's gonna go on with Brooklyn, man? Do you think Kyrie's
what an open-ended question? I who knows? Jacques Vaughn was officially made coach, and they seem to be responding.
Udoka was supposedly in the running here. It was rumored to be in the running.
It was beyond rumored. It was
true.
Hey, officially Udoka is going to get hired, and the backlash was so strong. But reports are now that Udoka met with all the top Nets brass 24 to 48 hours before Nash got fired.
Oh shit! So is
that's the rumor from the people tapped into the team, that he met with them, started devising the strategies he felt the team needed and stuff like that, and talking to the brass.
Right.
And then they felt the public backlash was too severe.
Wow.
So they elected to elevate Jacques from interim to full-time coach.
I think it's a smart move, man. I think
they don't need more controversy in their lives.
You don't need more drama. You're going to barely survive the Kyrie drama.
Plus, Ime is a defense-first coach, and the Nets don't have defensive personnel. So I don't know exactly what his game plan was going to be.
Well, they have Simmons, but they don't have. But like,
you got to build Simmons' confidence up first. Yeah, and KD will play defense, but you can't expect him to score 35 a night plus play top-tier defense at the age of, what is he, 34?
Yeah,
that's a big ask.
Yeah.
So, they have no interior presence, so they're going to get murdered on the boards pretty consistently. With any team with any kind of bigs. And it's just like, Udoka's a good coach. I just don't know if he's the best fit for what you guys, the personnel you have, unless he's willing to, be malleable.
I think if it doesn't work out in Memphis could be a really interesting place for him to land.
Oh, they like their coach. They're doing great.
They do love him, man. You're right. I don't know. Could be weird. I mean, like, what's out there for that guy? I don't know what's out there.
We'll see in a couple of years. I mean, who knows? Who knows? Let's see what the fallout from the investigation and all that is first.
Is Thibodeau still coaching the Knicks?
Yeah.
Yeah. He could take over for Thibodeau.
I mean, if you want to go coaching tree, he was with the Spurs for a while. Pop is probably not going to be coaching forever.
Yeah, I don't know if San Antonio would risk that kind of backlash.
Yeah. But at the same time, what does San Antonio have to lose?
Yeah.
If it comes, who knows? Who knows?
Are you shocked by the Golden State Warriors starting out at 4-7?
Yes and no.
Why no? Why no?
Well, there's going to be some post-championship hangover a little bit.
Right.
You played late in the season. You're probably going to come in, but to start 0-6 on the road, it's the first championship team that's ever done that.
Right.
And outside of Steph, everybody else is up and down a little bit.
Yeah.
James Wiseman hasn't made the progress that you would anticipate. Granted, he still has limited games, but there are moments where it's just like, you look so lost out there, and they really need him to step up to play big minutes.
Yeah.
Jordan Poole's down a little bit. He got the bag and, not exactly playing all that. I think the bigger surprise is the fact that Utah has I think by percentage, the third best winning percentage, but number one in the West, 10-3. And Danny Ainge has to be shitting himself going, guys, this was not the plan. This was not the plan. This is great. I'm so happy we're playing well. This is not what we wanted.
What are you doing? Yeah, exactly.
We have Wembanyama out there and Scoot, but Wembanyama is fucking loose. So we'll see if this keeps up, but I would imagine Jordan Clarkson and Mike Conley are not long for this, Jazz world. They'll hold on to Markkanen and THT, I would guess, and then they'll make some other moves on if they want to tank this, but I don't understand why they wouldn't.
I mean, you're 10-3, man. I mean, you might as well fucking write it out.
Why?
I mean, because
can you win a championship with this team?
No,
I don't think so.
But if you think you're gonna tank without making it obvious, I don't know how you tank a 10-3 team without making it seem really obvious.
What are the punitive damages if they do make it really obvious? Nothing this season, so it really won't hurt them.
All right.
Could there be repercussions going forward for them? Yeah.
Yeah.
But they could still end up with Wembanyama.
Yeah, but what if you trade everybody and then you tank, you fall all the way, and then you don't even get the number one pick? Then you've pissed away the possibility of being relevant, at least as a playoff team, and making that money for the next couple of years, chasing a guy and that you didn't even get. I don't know. It's a crazy.
You still have all
chance to
Minnesota's
take
picks, and they look in disarray.
Oh,
They
it's
look
true.
like
You
a
do. Yeah,
middling team.
they
You got
do.
all the Cavs picks, even though the Cavs look good.
Yeah.
You've got picks for days.
Yeah, that's a good point. Never mind.
You can do the big swing if there's a disgruntled star out there, and you can trade,
Kevin Durant.
you know, whoever it is, but the James Harden-esque when he went to Houston kind of trade where it's
Right.
we'll give you a whole bunch of picks and we'll take that guy off your hands. They'll still have options.
KD in Utah would be interesting. I kind of
KD would hate being in Utah.
Yeah, well, as a black man in Utah, yeah, that might be tough for KD.
I wouldn't even say that. I would just. It seems like he wants to be in large markets after having been in Oklahoma City for so long.
Yeah, but what's left? He's not going to the Knicks.
Who knows? Who knows? He's still got 3 years after this one on his contract, so don't know that he has any kind of leverage.
He wants in on some kind of purchase of the Commanders too. I was like, you know what? Stay away. Just nobody should buy the Commanders a fucking player. RG3 said that to us. I can find $400 million. Get out of here. And none of you all should be owning the damn team. Let's get a person with a lot of money, not someone who's struggling to scrounge the money up. That's not a recipe for buying a team, for God's sakes.
Look, I think you should just do everything you can to get rid of Daniel Snyder come hell or high water. I don't really care who the ownership group is. So.
You can say that you're not a Commanders fan. I can't. I worry about the ownership because I do want him out. Don't get me wrong, but I don't want him out to replace him with another facsimile, another same kind of owner. It's got to be someone who really cares about the city, cares about changes the Commanders' whole entire perception. Because they just filed charges against the Commanders today in Virginia.
Yeah, I haven't read that article yet, but I saw it on the Washington Post.
Yeah. And they are going after them. Was it for colluding to deceive fans and the district residents about the league's investigation into the team's toxic workplace culture and allegations of sexual assault? The team responded yesterday when the rumor broke that the AG was going to file these charges, and tried to rope in Brian Robinson's carjacking and shooting into their reasoning. They said, on the heels of us receiving Brian Robinson back onto the team after he was attacked and the crime going crazy in the city he is a victim of, the AG wants to waste his time on the Commanders and people went ape shit on that.
Of course they did.
It's it's so ugly to use someone else's trauma. His own agent came out and tweeted and said, fuck you guys for doing this. So it's just so stupid. He's just a colossal fuck to it, Snyder, and keeps stepping in bags of shit all the time with his decisions and his God.
That's what he does. He's always been a shitheel.
He has been. Speaking of Pesci and Casino. Anyway. All right. Well, we should get into the list now. We've convinced for long enough, Matt. 23 minutes. Let's get into this thing. Paul Krieg joining us from Britain there. Hello, Paul. How are you, Hammers?
How are you, bud?
How are you, West Ham Hammers? Matt's a bandwagon team. The
bandwagon? How dare you?
Still at the top of the table.
Do you want to see my Arsenal tattoo? I only have one tattoo.
I would love to see your Arsenal tattoo. I feel like
not a problem. It. I put it on my crank, so the cannon goes right down the side.
There it is.
Dude, it hurt, but it's worth it, man. True blue fan right here.
Nothing but glass right there from Matt Knost. No, it's crazy up there, man. It's just 2 points between Arsenal and Man City. Newcastle is up there shaking some shit up. I don't think Tottenham's going to stay up there for too much longer.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. Chelsea and Liverpool still kind of 7 points out. We really don't have a chance, but we'll see.
You're deluding yourself. It's not.
I'm not. But we have made up bigger differences in point totals before. I just don't know if people are going to come back and not get injured after the World Cup, because we're going to get Diaz back and Jota back, and maybe we'll do some moves in the.
Too little, too late, my friend.
You know what?
Too late.
No idea what you're fucking talking about.
I have. How dare you?
This guy.
Do you want me to pull it out? Give you the Arsenal salute?
Sure, please do.
You salute it if it comes out.
That's true. But yeah, World Cup's around the corner. I have started my own sports channel on YouTube. We've moved Game Time off the Outlaw Nation channel. It's now we have a Game Time sports channel on YouTube because I want to cover the World Cup and cover other things on there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the World Cup, which is literally just weeks away.
Yep.
So it's going to be exciting. If we get out of the group, the U.S., it'll be a miracle. And then after that, I think it's just icing on the cake, rather. So we'll see. Are you going to watch any World Cup? Probably not.
Yeah, already making plans for the 25th when we take on England. What?
This guy.
I am. I'm going to watch. World Cup is fantastic.
That you pay attention to. Gotcha.
That and Arsenal.
Oh.
I watch as much. Qatar, that is going to be difficult to watch because it just that will pop into my head as I'm watching.
Qatar should have that's going to be on the 20th. That's how it starts off. Yeah, we're what 9 days, what are you, 10 days away? I guess we're 10 days away from it starting. So
but yeah, no, I will be watching, try and watch as many games
very interesting
as I can.
Yeah, we play on the 21st, right? Wales. That's our first game is Wales. And then, like you said, we play England on the 25th. And then we play Iran, I think, as our last game in the group. Is that Iran as our last game in the group? I think it is.
I haven't looked at our grouping since it was announced. I just know that we're playing England on the 25th.
Dun, 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 dun. Speaking of England, Ralph Fiennes, top 10 Ralph Fiennes movies. Let's do it. Nice segue. Matt Knost, how does this show work, my man?
We set a topic, go our personal ways, and create individual lists. Show back up here. I do my bottom three. He does his bottom three. I do my next two. He does his next two. Then we trade one apiece. Once we have revealed our personal top 10 list, we create the shows between the two of us.
That's good. All right. Let's get it on. What you got at 10?
So a ton of different choices.
Okay. Yes.
Because it, like we alluded to earlier, he takes smaller parts in so many different movies.
Yeah.
And then he's done quite a few different. Anyway, so I'm just going to get into it. At 10, it's not going to be on your list, but Hail Caesar.
Oof. Yeah. No. Go ahead.
He is probably my favorite part of it.
Wow, that's a strong statement.
What? Just him as a director.
Yeah.
Trying to work with the guy that plays Solo.
Yeah, Han Solo.
Son of a gun, I can't remember his name.
Alden Ehrenreich, maybe?
Yeah. Something along those lines. I wanted to say Ansel Elgort, but I was like, that's not right.
That's not right for Ansel Elgort.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was like, well, that's not right.
Yeah.
But the back and forth between the two of them, I would that it were. And just having him to go over the enunciation in Rafe is playing a director.
Yeah.
And the actor gets foisted upon him. It's part of the studio system at that point within Hollywood. So he has no real choice as to who gets cast in this role.
Because they want this guy to be successful.
Yeah, he's been huge in Westerns.
Yeah.
He's a rising star. We want to try and get him into other things and see if we can create a Cary Grant, a Jimmy Stewart, somebody that's cross appeal across, various genres.
And make some money off them. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Hopefully pull in some of his audience into this and we just make more money overall.
True.
So seeing Fiennes not let his frustration boil over as he's trying to get this actor who should never be in his movie to work in these scenes, and you can see it like kind of bubbling up underneath, but he's doing his best to stay calm, and just that going over the line over and over and over again. He's just trying to get the enunciation just right. That killed me in the theater. I loved those scenes. There are a couple other small scenes that I thoroughly like. George Clooney with all the communists.
Oh, that's a great scene with all the writers there. Oh my God.
Yeah. When he's easily getting swayed into collectivism and whatnot. Yeah. Just looking around, be like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Didn't take much in the way of argument for him to be swayed.
Oh, he's so good at playing those kinds of characters.
There's a whole lot of other in the movie where I'm like, I don't understand this.
Oh yeah, everything with Channing Tatum makes no sense. And
Everything with Channing Tatum.
Yeah, and the Scarlet stuff's a little weird.
The Scarlet stuff it's nice that you're doing an homage to those types of films from that era in Hollywood, but at the same time, it's like I don't understand what this does to the storytelling, but I don't know. I feel like that movie is still lost on me. And yet everything else the Coens have done, I've been a fan of.
I feel like they're in the, what do you call it? The Ridley Scott area of their career now, where it's like hit or miss. It really is, like one way or another. Because I didn't like Hail Caesar. And what was the most it was the most recent one they did together? Because I know Tragedy of Macbeth was good, but that wasn't them together.
What are you thinking of, Buster Scruggs?
Oh yeah, Buster Scruggs. I I love westerns clearly, and I thought that was like uneven. I thought there was some good.
Well, wasn't it originally supposed to be like a TV series that was they were all like half hour or 1 hour episodes or something, and then they eventually just cobbled together and made it a movie?
Yeah, I guess so. And that's what it felt like to me, cobbled together as opposed to connected. And I didn't like Inside Llewyn Davis, even though I thought the performances.
Yeah, I didn't care for that movie.
Yeah, from Oscar Isaac and Carey Mulligan, even Timberlake. JT was all right in the movie, but the overall point of the movie was, what the fuck? Oh, fuck, do I care? I don't care. And when he got to that meeting with F. Murray, I was like, all of this for that? Like, it just didn't make any fucking sense to me on so many levels.
I don't even kind of consider that part of the Coens, even though it is.
Yeah.
Whereas Hail Caesar, I'm like, you know what? I need to give that another chance. I feel like I'm missing.
Yeah.
Whereas Inside Llewyn Davis was like, no, I get it. I find him an utterly unlikable character.
Yeah, he is.
So why am I gonna pay attention and tune in? Whereas Hail Caesar, I'm like, God, what am I missing? They're trying to tell me something. But even if I don't go back and watch the whole thing again, I will happily go back and watch Ralph Fiennes' scenes in it.
Yeah, fair point.
So, and given there's a multitude of small parts, and there's going to be a couple that you have of excellent movies, and there's small parts, and like, I just to kind of spread the love around a little bit.
Fair enough. So what's your 9?
My 9 is I didn't know which to choose, so I went with Skyfall.
Well, the Skyfall. Okay, go ahead, man.
Didn't put it on your list?
I did not. Skyfall, I was close, but it's because Judy is still very much prevalent. It isn't
very true.
Spectre and No Time to Die, but in Spectre, that's really his meatiest role as M, or the new M. But that movie isn't, for a lot of people, isn't that great. I like it, but I didn't feel like I could legitimize putting it on the list for that reason. Do you know what I'm saying? So, but go ahead, please. Skyfall is great.
I thought Spectre was just okay.
Yeah.
And then it was between Skyfall and No Time to Die.
Right.
And I agree with you. Judi Dench does have a large part, and then he comes in at the very end, and you're kind of setting up the character. So really, this is kind of hey, you're an important piece of numerous movies that I vary in degree from loving to I enjoy. Which is Spectre on that on that spectrum.
Spectre on the spectrum. I like it.
Yeah, that's I stumbled over that. So while I agree with you, the part is teeny tiny. It's just like, well, I want to recognize the fact that this isn't an easy role to step into, especially after Judi Dench has really made it her own.
Yeah.
And to take over the reins for somebody that's kind of a reinterpretation of the character. And I like the direction the franchise was going there.
Yeah.
And then to replace her with someone, well, who can possibly do that and still have the same gravity and weight in the scenes that you immediately give them the respect that they probably rightly deserve.
Yeah.
So you get Ralph Fiennes to sign on, which is amazing casting. Good for you.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just like a tip of the hat to all of them, but I can't put all of them on the list.
Yeah.
I have a problem with another series like that later on.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah.
So I elected to say, you know what? I'm going to choose Skyfall, but this is really for several movies.
Oh yeah, fair point. Yeah. He's great. I love him as Mallory, and like I said, the thing he did in Inspector, I like him a lot. Inspector and the back and forth he has with the actor who plays Moriarty and Sherlock, who plays C in the movie. They're back and forth, and constant bickering between each other until we get to that climax between their situation and what happens in the intelligence building. But he's great, you know what I'm saying? And in the third one, it's much more where he's out in the field more. Bond is, and then Rami Malek and all of that. So he doesn't have as much of a role to play in that. But yeah, you're right. I mean, his energy throughout those last 3 films in the Bond series have been great. You know, I love Ralph Fiennes for as he's kind of moving into this older stage of his career. He brings a kind of weight to any project that he's in if it's a serious project that you can't resist. So yeah. Well, what's your 8?
My 8 is In Bruges.
That's my 8. Yeah.
Small part.
But a great part.
Great part.
Yeah.
When he freaks out on the phone.
Oh my God.
About how amazing Bruges is. Which Bruges, from an American perspective, I love the name of it.
Yeah.
But then to get a kind of boots on the ground view of what Bruges is to people that have been to Bruges and whatnot, it sounds like Williamsburg or something like that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, it's quaint and enjoyable. I don't know what else I want beyond that. Like, it's not like it's some amazing tourist destination.
Yeah.
And to see him freak out about how magical it is because he went there as a kid and just enjoyed it so much and just destroys that phone. But playing completely against what we all assume him to be, some posh individual. And he is so cockneyed, this rough and tumble, bruiser that you buy into.
Oh, yeah.
I fully believe that he is this bluest of blue collar gangsters. And then, to bring him in as a contrast to the sensitive nature of Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson as they're trying to deal with their shit, especially Colin.
Yeah.
And he is just this hammer and the entire world are nails. And that's how he views every problem.
Yeah.
But it's under his order about Colin Farrell's situation where it ends up and what transpires.
Right.
But yeah, they used that scene in the trailer. I remember that, and it was still just as effective in the movie overall with him banging on the phone and just flipping the fuck out. It's still just good, and I can remember it to this day, and it's been a few years since I've seen the movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, I put In Bruges at my 8.
Yeah, I like it for everything you said. Absolutely. And for the unusual nature of how his character takes everything into his own hands for that finale of the movie, when he actually goes after them and how it all leads to, and the back and forth with him and Brendan Gleeson, because clearly they have known each other for a long time in this business and probably came up together, and this guy just kind of went past him into the position that he's in. So these kind of familiar back and forths, I think, are so great for the character, because he can easily just be this, interesting, unusual, out there character. But the fact that you actually see these more human connections, like with his family, with his wife, and the cussing and all of that, and then when he sees and runs into Brendan and has the back and forth with him, it's great stuff to balance all the emotional or the angry emotional moments that are hilarious. But still chilling.
Mm-hmm.
It's great to see him have a more human stuff. You almost feel like if he could just, which is the mark of a great actor. He's showing the high wire he's on, and you're like, if you could just turn around and understand where they're coming from, it'll be okay, and no one has to die. But you're already on the path that you're going, and you're not going to pull yourself off. So he does a great job.
Yeah, he made a decision, and basically to him, it's a black and white issue.
Yeah, it's clear. It's clear.
It's clear. As much as he understands the conflict, especially that Brendan is going through, he doesn't care, because just like, nah, we have rules.
Yeah.
We all know what the rules are, and you know that I'm right. So you need to take care of this because he broke the fucking rules.
Yeah.
And, Brendan is conflicted about it.
Right. And makes good reason. Yeah, makes good reasons for why. Okay, so that's our 8s. My number 10 is Strange Days.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, this one is a very interesting film. I mean, Angela Bassett, for the love of God, I just saw Wakanda Forever, and she looks the same as she did in this movie back in the 90s, for the love of God. Whatever she's doing, she should tell everybody about it and bottle it, for the love of God. Anyway, this film is such an interesting film. I think Catherine Bigelow directed this one as well. And it's at that time when we were dealing with technology and what that meant. And this film has kind of a cousin in, was it Brainstorm and Dreamscape, the Dennis Quaid one, and Brainstorm being the Natalie Wood, Christopher Walken, where you put on this thing on your head and you can go into the world. Peripheral, that's out now on Prime Video with Chloe Grace Moretz, has connections to this kind of concept as well, where you put this thing on and yeah, what's up?
That small town has the hottest population you're ever gonna find. It's fucking ridiculous. 5 minutes in, when she turns around and sees that cop, and you're like, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. I turned to Catherine because we watched it.
Oh, yeah.
And that's basically what I said. I was like, dude, how many hot people live in a town of 400?
Yeah. Yeah, it's you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Her brother is an attractive dude, and
all these people into tech are really hot. When you're like,
the whole fucking everybody they're bumping into. I couldn't get past the pilot. I haven't watched another one since.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Is it any good?
Yeah, I like it. I'm 3 deep in, but I like her, dude. And it's weird. I kind of champion her because, I feel like she's one of those ones that kind of has gotten lost in the mix of all these ingenues that came out around the same time. And I think she's a little more sensitive than most of them, and maybe why she got lost in the mix. She did the interview. She talked about that meme about her in The Simpsons. They were like making fun of her for her kind of box shape of her body. And she said for her, it just kind of destroyed her emotionally. So you kind of understand that as an actress, but I think she's come along really well as an actress. I like her talent. And this story is supposedly really good. My friend's a big William Gibson fan, and he told me, he's like, dude, you got to fucking watch this series. You don't read the book if you don't want to, but like watch the series. I'm like, all right. And I'm enjoying it so far, but your criticism is 100% on point.
Well, that in that first episode, a lot happens.
Yeah. It's like
they pack in just like, what the okay. So there's a lot to digest here.
Yeah.
But we just watched it like a handful of days ago. Yeah. So it's not like I'm out on the series. Just like that was a lot. Plus the Crown just came back, and
oh, dude, please, that's my Saturday, please. Anyway, Strange Days, great stuff. Really enjoy his performance. This is like people still getting to know Ralph Fiennes as an actor in America, and I liked his American accent, little like Stephen Strange in the first Doctor Strange movie, where it's kind of
he always does a pretty bad American accent.
Yeah, you're right. You're not wrong there. But him and Angela Bassett having an interesting relationship here, and Tom Sizemore, and then Juliette Lewis, and getting what's going on, how he's being corrupted, how this thing is being corrupted. Futuristic film is being corrupted to manipulate people to do these crimes and get into these situations, and it's pretty horrific too, because he kind of locks into the program and the file of the guy, because they're trying to track down this person who is abusing the technology and recording himself sexually assaulting women or killing people. And so people are putting on and reliving the visceral experience of it. And so he has to kind of put it on and relive the visceral experience of his girlfriend, Juliette Lewis, being assaulted and beat up and whatever. And so he's got to confront that. And so I think it's an interesting film. It wasn't great, but I think his performance is good enough to warrant being on my list for me. So
fair enough.
Yeah. My number 9 is The Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. That's my favorite performance of his as Voldemort, since he shows up in from when he shows up in Goblet of Fire to the end of the series. I think he has more to do in Deathly Hallows Part 2. He's less of an easily beat villain until the end. Huh?
Why don't we punt?
Oh, sorry. It's punt. Okay, I will punt. Sorry, I didn't hear you. My apologies. All right, so
I didn't say it. You just I didn't want to interrupt.
Gotcha. All right, let's get to your 7. What's your 7?
My 7 is Red Dragon.
That's my 7. Son of a bitch. All right.
Do you see? Do you see? A really good addition
Oh yeah.
to this series. I mean, there's Manhunter before.
Yes, the original.
So you can watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can watch the same film.
Yeah.
Well, there are aspects of it like William Peterson's version of the same character that Ed Norton is doing.
Yes.
I enjoy that thoroughly, but I like the addition of Ralph Fiennes as the Red Dragon.
Yeah.
And he plays the anguish so well of this person that's kind of, I don't want to say torn, because he is definitely,
he's tortured if nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is, well, I was just saying torn in that, like, he wants to some degree, the civility of a normal life.
Yeah.
As he starts to get romantically entangled with his coworker.
With Emily Watson.
Yeah. You can tell that kind of normalcy and the affection and love of another individual is something that he does crave, and he responds to her affection. But then simultaneously, in the midst of all of that, he is still feels that he's transforming into, wrath or whatever. The Red Dragon, but whatever that means to him specifically.
Yeah.
Revenge, retribution, mankind's comeuppance, evolutionarily, the moral compass of what we should be. I don't know entirely the motivations. But he plays a mean serial killer.
Yeah, you're 100% right. He's a guy, I think it's Francis Dollarhide is the name of the character, and he's the guy who you're right. He clearly was not loved as a child or cared about as a child, and he's grown into this really psychopathic individual who has deluded himself into believing he is this thing that is the second coming of this demon that is going to enact justice on people for the perceived sins, or their perceived sins in his mind. And you're right. I think that's the great balance of the film, having Emily Watson there. She's blind. The scene where they're touching the tiger or whatever. And he seems to be a nice guy to everybody who knows him, like a quiet, introverted guy to everybody who knows him. But when he embraces becoming this thing, that scene in the, as you were saying, he's screaming there in the first line, that scene when he's in the attic and he's showing himself to Philip Seymour Hoffman and all, it is chilling, man.
Yeah.
Super
He's projected
chilling.
the image that he's tattooed on his back, but it's up on the screen. Then Seymour Hoffman doesn't want to look.
Yeah.
Just sitting there because he's glued to that chair.
He knows he's going to die if he looks.
Exactly. He doesn't want to. If I can't, identify you.
Yeah.
It puts me out of less danger, or keeps me in a state of less danger.
Yeah. The guy who played him in the first movie is in Heat. He's the dude in the wheelchair he's talking about.
Yeah, it's one of those guys.
Yeah, Tom Noonan. He's such a good actor. But yeah.
Brett Ratner actually made a good movie.
Yeah, I know. This is one of those ones that you were really surprised that it was Brett Ratner who directed.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, because Norton's good in it. Keitel, Mary Louise Parker, blah 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 blah. Emily Watson. We already said that. Yeah, they're all really, really good throughout the whole movie. And so it's not as good as Silence of the Lambs, but I think of all of them, it's my second favorite.
Yes,
to Silence of the Lambs.
That and Manhunter, I would probably put this ahead of
Manhunter. Sure,
it's still in the same universe.
I guess so. Yeah.
But then once we get in anything beyond that, the Hannibals, the whatever. Yeah, it's lackluster to say the very least.
Do you like Cox's Hannibal? Brian Cox's Hannibal in Manhunter?
Yeah,
I do too. I think he did a good job. Okay, so blah 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 blah. Where are we next? Your 6?
My 6, which is the Prince of Egypt.
Ooh, a slight punt.
Okay, fair enough.
My 6 is Quiz Show.
That is a punt.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, Matt, I think we've hit the halfway point here.
That we have. So we are going to take a break, hear this word from our sponsor, and be right back after this. All righty, there we are.
Yeah.
We're jumping into our top 5s.
Mm-hmm.
So at 5, I have The Constant Gardener.
Ooh, that's my 4. Yeah, let's do it.
It's it's him and Rachel Weisz, and they're trying to hunt down the information on basically a pharmaceutical company that has gone awry of its edict. It is it's rushed to test a drug and whatnot. It's killed people, and now they're trying to cover it up. And Weisz uncovers it first, and then is killed by forces we don't know about yet.
Yeah.
And then it is the rest of the movie is Fiennes trying to uncover what was going on with his wife, and then how that ties into the pharmaceutical company itself. But I think the more poignant scenes are when he is reflecting back on her.
Yes.
And the love that they have, because that gets called into question at various points in the movie.
Yeah.
And even if, as he's struggling with, dealing with the reality of what potentially could have happened, him reflecting back on their time together is what he's holding on to. And even in the midst of all his sorrow and his grief, he chooses to latch onto the happier memories, or when they fell in love, or whatever the case is. And it's the story being split into those aspects where you still have the thriller of trying to chase down the information and what happened, and then the flashing back and reflecting on the entire reason that not the entire reason, but a large motivation as to why we're in this situation currently. I like that device within the storytelling.
Yeah, I think it works so well for what it's trying to get across, because this is an unusual male lead. This is a guy who, like, his wife cheated on him, and the guys are kind of surprised at how aggressive he is at trying to find out what happened or trying to continue her work. So it's an unusual male lead in a film, and but it works, and he does such a great job in showing you why he loved her, why he was okay with what happened, why he understood what happened because of all the factors. And not many men would be willing to be so circumspect about a situation like this. Not to mention that he's also extremely intelligent. He's more reserved. He's not an emotional guy. But he is like a battering ram of tenacity in trying to find out, both with Rachel Weisz when she was alive, and then later when he's reflecting back and also kind of pursuing this to call them to heal. He's great. And as I know she won the Oscar for it, but like, he was just as good in what he did in that movie. For me, it was very unusual and challenging film to watch because of the way he plays that character and what happens with that character. Challenging in a good way. Yeah.
The conflict that he has to deal with.
Yeah.
The internal of the unfaithfulness and what that means to you. It's kind of like what George Clooney does in The Descendants.
Yeah, right. Oh my God, yes. That's a great point.
Where it's like, fuck you, but I still love you.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's this push and pull of, I wish you were alive so I could yell at you, and I also wish you were alive so I could kiss you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, great point.
Yeah, this duality of the emotions. It's like in Inside Out, where when the little girl has to realize that certain memories are bittersweet. Yeah. And that is part of adulthood. Not everything is the polarity of one or the other.
Right.
And the emotions that he's going through, these multifaceted things, and he pulls it off. You really buy in those scenes, and in the midst of trying to deal with pharmaceutical companies and governments and whatnot, stifling the information that you're trying to attain and get out into the world. It was just but I don't know how many people will go back for it at this point.
Yeah. I mean, because it's a tough watch. It's a tough watch. And it's slow. It's not, and I don't mean slow in a bad way. It takes its time getting to where it's going. And it's not always the easiest thing to watch. But yeah, it's an excellent film. All right. So where are we up to?
That was my 5, year 4. So year 5.
My 5 is The Prince of Egypt, which is the slight punt from earlier.
Okay.
I love this film, man. I mean, this one just has a special place in my heart. I think he does an incredible job as Moses. I'll always, I always talk about that Moses, like Moses, as his voice kind of drifts off, screaming for his brother after Moses leaves Egypt. It's a Ramses I've never seen in any version. It's a Ramses who really does love his brother, really looked up to his brother, really cared about his brother. And even though he wasn't his blood brother, he was raised as his brother, kind of like that Tom Hagen Sonny thing in The Godfather. There is almost no difference in terms of the way they both feel towards their father. There is a real connection, and he's genuinely heartbroken when he has to leave. And you see that Moses is kind of just, I have to do this. I have to do this. My truth has been shattered. My world has been shattered. I've got to go off and figure this out. And Ramsey's like, no, stay here. I'll help you. We'll do it together. He's trying so hard. So that when he makes the turn, it's even more tragic because he's making the turn because he's trying to impress his father, because his father didn't love him the way, he thinks his father didn't love him the way he loved Moses. So he feels he has to overcompensate. And in the overcompensation is where he has to battle with his feelings for Moses when he returns. So there's so much he's doing in these lines and in this voice, and Kilmer too, for God's sakes. There's so much that's going on here that I think it's one of the most impressive voiceover performances in the last 30 years, in my opinion. In a project, with a character we've known and seen interpreted many times before on film.
And you see the motivation of somebody like Ramesses, why he would be so distraught over losing someone like Moses, because there's nobody else that he can talk to.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you hear a celebrity talk about how lonely fame is. Because everybody that comes up to them wants something, whether it's a picture, an autograph, or to try and be best friends with.
Right.
As opposed to, they don't view you as an individual. You are this idealized thing that's been marketed out into the world.
Yeah.
And Moses and Ramesses grew up together. They know everything about each other. They're best friends.
Yeah.
And I think part of the reason that he struggles for his father's affection, because his father's like, look, you have to take over for me one day and be God on earth.
Mm-hmm.
You need to understand that absurd idea and embrace it and believe it, live it, everything. If you don't believe it, no one else will, type of thing. And to see Moses kind of embody his humanity and go off and save his own people.
Yeah.
It's Ramesses kind of looking in the mirror and not liking the reflection that he sees back.
Well, Ramses feels like he was forced to be a leader, and Moses feels like he was called to be a leader, even though he didn't want. He's a reluctant leader, whereas Ramses isn't reluctant in a different way, but he's forced to do it. And there's a difference, forced versus called. Even though you're both reluctant, there's a different feeling that comes over you when you're a reluctant leader who's called to do it, and there's power in that. And so the back and forth, and that scene after the son has died, and he's standing and the spotlight is on him and he just says, just go. Like, you see the just devastation like that their conflict has caused in which is the death of his son, and that his own brother is the one that ends up causing the death of his son, is just such a great stuff. So that ain't Yul Brynner is all I'm going to say. All right, which is not bad.
Yeah, but that was also a different time.
Yeah, I know. You're right.
Like what you needed to come across or put across in front of an audience at that point was utterly different.
You have to make him evil. Yeah, exactly.
It just, it's more cartoonish. You go back and watch some early films, and it is ham-fisted, the storytelling, because this is somewhat new medium.
Well, it's crazy too, because they were creating complex, interesting, layered, nuanced characters back in the 30s and 40s and 50s in their movies. It's just that for the bigger biblical
for
stuff,
a production this size and a story this well known. Yeah, that's, he's bad. Okay, well, we're just going to play him as bad.
Get him out. Yeah, exactly. The whole thing. All right, so we're up to year 4. Yes.
Yeah, my 4 is I was shocked it made it this high, but the Grand Budapest Hotel.
That's a punt.
I figured it might be.
Yeah, yeah. My 4 is already The Constant Gardener, so we talked about that already. So what's your 3?
My 3 is Quiz Show.
Oh, nice. I like that it's that high on your list. All right, let's talk about
it. Bobby did a good job directing this.
Bobby Redford.
It's not the flashier role, which goes to Turturro. He needs to play this somewhat internally conflicted individual.
Yeah.
He does, which he does internal conflict. We've already talked about that a couple of different times before.
Certainly.
But he comes from like this well-to-do WASP family that everybody is learned and well-known for being educated.
Yeah. Right.
Like everybody else. So he has the pedigree of name is something that everybody recognizes as, oh, okay, you're, it's not quite Einstein, but that's what we're talking about. If you had, this is Steve Einstein, you're instantly like, oh, this guy must be smart. And it's akin to that.
Yeah.
So he comes in and the producer's like, oh, this is the goose that laid the golden egg. It's perfect for our show. It'll help with ratings. And they elect to, this is all a true story, by the way.
Yeah. Very true story. Yes.
They elect to feed him the answers and talk Turturro into taking a dive. Yeah. Turturro's character had just been crushing, just promising you take a dive and then we'll build it up. It's kind of like wrestling. We'll build it up and make you two these big foes that eventually have to have a clash, a war on the shore situation. We'll do it at WrestleMania and we'll blow it out, huge. So Turturro agrees to take the dive and then becomes disgruntled at the fact that Pretty Boy comes in and is fed all the answers. And meanwhile, this not as handsome Jewish guy from Brooklyn is the lesser man because he's not, the WASP ideal, and finds initially doesn't mind getting the answers.
Yeah.
He's happy with it. And then just the sham of it begins to wear on him. And he plays it so beautifully.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, the film is so surprisingly good. I was mad that it didn't do well in the box office. I was really upset about that. It was one of those ones that you're like, more people need to fucking see this film, but I guess maybe being a period piece, maybe being something that people aren't too into the quiz show type stuff. Maybe they don't want to see what's actually going on behind the scenes of something like this. They don't want to believe that what they're watching can be manipulated. Because I think it still happens to this day, in my personal opinion. And I think this film is a fantastic performance by Ralph Fiennes. Again, playing his American accent, not that great, but the way he plays this frustrated son of someone famous, and the way the film initially, it feels like initially it's trying to forgive him and trying to give him an out. And Rob Morrow's character, and Rob rarely got to be on, in films as a lead character. Rob Morrow's character gets caught up in this, and it's his wife who has to be like, dude, calm your ass down. So Fiennes is so good at playing this character that you can't help yourself but start to sympathize with him. And then John Turturro as the counter is so great. But when you take a step back after the film is over, you understand that, like, you can see why Turturro's character went the route. As irritating as he wasn't wrong.
No, he was right.
They fucked him over. Scorsese and Hank Azaria, they fucked him over. And, there's lessons to be taken from this film symbolically or, meaning wise as well. The idea of a system abusing two people and not caring how they abuse them, because in the end, they were about making the money.
Yeah.
So whatever happens to them mental health wise, they can just kind of escape and not pay a heavy fine for it and move on. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not going to shut the company down.
No, right.
It just might prevent them from doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So just figure out a new way to do it. Watching the movie, you don't want to like Turturro because his character is so annoying.
Yeah.
But the whole time as he's raising these objections, you're like, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
He's not wrong.
Yeah. Even though he took the answers, even though he did the dive, to his mind, he thought he was doing this for the betterment of the company and, of course, for himself, getting the glory and whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it was
that,
somewhat self-serving if
yes,
they fulfilled their end of the bargain, which they
right,
didn't do.
right. And that's the only reason he's mad is he
Yeah,
didn't get his side of the equation. But when it all comes out that he was fed the answers, that scene between him and his wife when in this train station, when his wife says, "Wait, you had the answers?" She had been standing by him for all the bullshit. It wasn't until that moment that she realized, oh my God, he is a lie. He is the exact same lie that he's claiming that
yeah,
Van Dorn is. Van Dorn is, and so how can he? And it's so great. But yeah, but finds throughout. I mean, the scenes with Rob Morrow and the family when he's hanging out with Van Dorn's family and everything like that, out on the boat with him, the conversation, and then at the end when they're having the back and forth about everything, and when Fiennes has this explosion with his father. Oh God, I can't remember the actor's name. He plays Hamlet's dad in the Mel Gibson film. Schofield, Paul Schofield. Yeah, I think it's Paul Schofield. When he's having the back and forth with him, and he explodes, and he just says, because his dad doesn't want to, he doesn't understand. How can you possibly do this as an intellectual? Didn't you think about our name and whatever? So
yeah.
there's so much that is explored in this movie that I think is that I think Fiennes does a great job doing. Yeah. So, anyway, all right, where are we at? Your two?
That was my 3.
Oh, so my 3 is The English Patient, which is probably not on your list.
It is not on my list.
Yeah. I love this movie. I think it was a hard thing not putting it number 1, but I had to be honest. But this is an incredible performance by him in a film that I thoroughly love. And I know it doesn't work for everybody, as Knost will attest, but for me, it does. And I really enjoy him both in the burn makeup and outside the burn makeup. He's able to convey such a depth of emotion, or such a well of emotion for Kristen Scott Thomas's character and what they navigate throughout this illicit affair that they have. And the scenes where he gets like so desperate for her, and then the scene when he gets so angry that she's leaving him, and the bitterness that is exchanged between them. And then the scene when he carries her out of the cave, when he's crying after she says, I've always kept it. I've always loved you. Just the devastation, or the erupt devastation on his face as he lets all this pain of years of loving her so much come out. I just think it's all so good. Just like when he's in the burn makeup and he's having these conversations with Juliet, and when he's like knocking down the morphine so she can kill him, it's just great. So I know you don't like it, so I'm speaking to an audience here, but for me, it's one of the best performances of his entire career. And
Yeah, look,
he's
maybe I saw it at too young an age.
Yeah, maybe.
And I wasn't emotionally developed enough to get invested in the film. No, that's entirely possible. Sometimes adult movies are too adult for. I mean, this came out in what, like 94?
95, I think.
95? Yeah, so I was like 16.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I'm way younger than you.
Okay, you know what?
Like way younger.
I can't tell from that white beard you've got growing in right now.
What? Dude, this is stubble. What white? How dare you?
Look at that.
Where do you see the white? That's just my
Santa Claus over there.
Don't even have this, just stubble.
Oh, it's 96. Sorry, 96. So 96.
Okay, so I was 17.
Yeah,
I mean, couldn't vote.
Couldn't even vote. But yeah, it's a beautiful film, and I think he's great in the tender moments and in the more emotional moments and the frustration moments, like when he's yelling because they won't give him a plane to go save Catherine. Just all of that. It's such a fantastic performance. Powerhouse, I would say. All right, so what's your 2?
My 2 is I wrote down Harry Potter.
Okay. You just put it just
I do well. This is
for the series. That's fair.
No. Goblet of Fire. That first introduction to him has real power.
It does. You're right.
And then the
Harry Potter.
The fight in the Ministry in the Order of Phoenix.
Oh yeah, that's a great fight.
Great scene.
Yeah.
And the slight reveal of him to the minister, the head of it all, who had been denying that he'd come back, and then now it was undeniable. But all that broken glass and all that, nonsense, great. But I think you have to go Deathly Hallows.
Yeah, that's why I put that one. Yeah.
I think because that's the biggest, and it's the culmination, and we're all leading to this, and he gets more time with Harry to have their big duel and all that stuff.
Sirius. They kill Sirius.
Yeah. But this looming specter of Voldemort. Who do you get for this? How in the world can you ever embody this? I never read the books, but I knew the name and I knew what the figure is ultimately supposed to be, like in terms of a larger than life presence that everybody cowers before. And the sheer fact that no one is willing to say his name aloud as if he's fucking Candyman. And then to see Ralph Fiennes finally come onto the screen, it was as good as advertised. And his interpretation and portrayal sells this skeletal figure with, like, God, those long bony fingers as he's holding on to the wand. And what they did, the simple thing of his nose, turning it somewhat reptilian, but cutting it off, that is incredibly scary. Without making a big, huge gore fest. But it's his mannerisms that conjure up this devilish specter, and take it from the ethereal into the real, and the manifestation of it before you. It's tough for me to recast him. I can recast others in the series, like the Crown. Like, we could replace the Queen with this other actress, and she's awesome too. And now we've had X number of awesome people playing this. Which, by the way, Prince Charles has to be very happy with the casting this season. Moving on. Very happy.
That dude is much better looking than
Prince. Much better looking. I would be happy if he played me, because I look as close to him as Prince Charles does.
Yeah, I think Josh O'Connor looked more like Charles than this guy does. But
not even close. That dude was great casting as far as what you're looking for. Especially the ears. That's got to be the tallest order.
Well, you could argue Elizabeth Debicki is also much more attractive than, even though Diana's pretty. Diana was very pretty. Debicki is like gorgeous. So
and you can tell she is very tall. I mean, I already knew that going into it, but I was like, this is going to be interesting. How are they going to do? Oh, she is definitely taller than a lot of these actors in these scenes. Because what is she, like 6'2"?
Yeah, something like that. Because I remember her in Tenet. She almost put her drink on top of Branagh's head. She was so tall.
I think it's part of the reason she got cast in the MCU is because of her height.
Oh yeah, playing
She already has this commanding presence because she's so tall, and by and large, actors are short individuals.
Oh, is that true? Petty says John Mayer is played by Sick Boy. Oh, is it Ewan Bremer? Ewan Bremer is playing Prime Minister.
No, it's Johnny Lee Miller.
Oh, that's Sick Boy. My bad. Johnny Lee Miller plays John Major. Wow, dude, we're fucking old. Wow. Okay.
They dyed his hair. But as soon as he came on, both Catherine and I were like, "Oh, sweet, I like him. Good casting."
Are you enjoying? How deep are you into it?
2 episodes in.
Do you like it so far? The first 2 episodes.
All right. Let's see where it goes.
All right.
Look, I enjoy. I'm not a royal, like someone that gets fascinated by that. But they've done such a good job of kind of communicating what these people have to go through. That I find the story, even if I don't find it riveting, I find it interesting.
Wow. Look at him. Jesus.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I mean, it's good casting.
It is. Good God.
Is he more handsome? Yes, but it's at least closer.
That's the original guy on the left. And so, it looks so close, man. Wow.
But I didn't know he was in this series, and he walked on and was like, oh my God, is that Majors? And then the subtly referenced that he's prime minister, and I was like, oh, Majors. I haven't thought about that dude in fucking
in a long time.
Decades.
Yeah. Be curious to see if when they bring in Tony Blair, like who's going to play Tony Blair? If it's going to be, if they bring Michael Sheen back again one more time.
Sadly, he's great, Michael Blair.
Yeah, he is a good Tony Blair.
Tony Blair. A little too old at this point.
Yeah, to age him or whatever. So that's your 2, is the Potter films overall?
Yeah, I'll choose Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Yeah. Same as me. My number 2 is the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Okay.
I actually rewatched it again because I have the Criterion. I actually watched it again to just kind of enjoy it again. And I hadn't seen it in a while. Fuck, he's good in this movie, man.
He's amazing.
He's so funny. He is so on point with his humor and shifting of emotions. And he is like the whole film, all this shit is happening around him, and he's not rattled by any of it until it's the stuff with his Boy Zero with Tony Revolori. That's when you see the emotion of this guy actually come out in a couple of moments. But other than that, he's just kind of rolling with everything, and he's so deft throughout the whole movie. It's a joy to watch him play such a confident character throughout the whole film. And a bit bumbly at times, but bumbly in a good way, you know.
Yeah, I wish the whole movie was him. That's my problem with Grand Budapest.
Really?
I only want to see him, and I think Tilda's really good.
Yeah, Tilda's great. Oh my God.
But I wish it was all. I wish the camera focused on him instead of Zero.
Mm-hmm.
And we told the story through his eyes.
Gotcha. So you're not the biggest fan of what Zero is doing in that movie.
I don't honestly. I think everybody else is okay to good.
Okay. I think Defoe is good.
Yeah.
You don't like Brody? You don't like Brody in the film?
He's good. I think Ralph Fiennes is otherworldly.
Oh, fair.
That's the only reason this movie even remotely makes consideration. Because I think if you cast somebody else, I'm out.
Yeah, right.
Because Wes Anderson at this point, slowly but surely, I'm just kind of like I'm not as big a fan anymore.
But you're losing your
connection. I just don't. I don't care. I understand your quirky, interesting world. I haven't seen French Dispatch yet, and I don't care if I do.
Yeah, I haven't either. I know it's on Peacock or Hulu, and I keep telling Lindley like we gotta watch it, and she's like, oh yeah, that's right, but we never kind of find the motivation to watch it. So I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
Hey, it's another quirky Wes Anderson. It's like, right. I don't know. I've seen that from you, man, at this point.
Right. That's good point.
And at the same time, like if other people enjoy it, I'm not knocking it, you know.
Oh, sure.
I'm glad he's got an audience just like any other artist. And
yeah,
I wish him nothing but luck. It's just, I don't know, something different for me, but at the same time, make movies for you.
The thing I found out after Angela Lansbury died was that they were trying to get her to play the Tilda Swinton part. They wanted it to be her. But she dropped out because she was doing a production of Driving Miss Daisy on stage. So she didn't do it. She couldn't break away from that rehearsal process.
God, that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Tilda's great.
She is, but Angela would have been.
It'd have been nice to see Angela.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a good part for her.
Especially because it's a mystery film. You know, they're trying to figure out how this all happened. So, yeah.
But,
yeah,
I mean, Ralph is next level as far as the comedy.
Yeah.
When they're in the hotel foyer and they're all talking like with the cops and then he just bolts out of nowhere. That's such good comedy. It's such good comedy.
Oh, no. He's on the run.
Takes off the stairs and he's running. It's almost like a cartoon character. It's so good. It just goes from like this calm, composed to as he's making the shift, goes wide-eyed and turns into almost like a Tex Avery cartoon and bolts. And just like that is just chef's kiss comedy.
I agree. 100%. All right. So then our number ones, I imagine, are the same. With Schindler's List. Yes.
Schindler's List.
Yeah. I mean,
that was the easiest. I reordered my list like 4 times. Grand Budapest just kind of kept climbing. And I was like, even if it is, you know, if it's Zero's film technically, but Schindler's is, I mean, that is an unforgiving part. And he is captivating in all the worst ways.
Yeah. I mean, look, there were so many Holocaust films and so many films about Nazis and stuff. It can kind of blend into themselves because there's so many of them.
Mm-hmm.
But what makes him stand out is it's such an unusual portrait of a Nazi that mixes the chilling, really chilling approach to how he deals with Jewish people. And then this idea that he can be convinced to be somewhat forgiving. And what Oscar tries to do when he's like, okay, I forgive you. And then when he changes back over, when he realizes he can't be this thing because he tried it out, there's a real sense of sociopathy to him because or I guess psychopathy. I don't know, psychopathy, sociopathy. I don't know. We could argue that, but it's more sociopathy. I think he doesn't have a connection to these people as human beings, and so for him to forgive them initially when he's trying that route, he's kind of okay. And then boom, when he makes the switch is so brutal. It is almost as if to make up for the lost time that he wasted doing that. And then the relationship that he has with Embeth Davidtz, the Jewish maid, like he whips her because he wants to whip himself.
Yeah, so he hates himself.
He hates himself, right, for loving her because she's Jewish and he's not supposed to. And so it's the fucked up shit that went on back then. I'm sure
viewing her as human.
Yeah.
That's where like his internal conflict starts.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to recognize you as no better than a rat.
Yeah, right.
And then to on top of that, be attracted to you.
Yeah.
And to have feelings and
right. I hate you for making me feel this way, which violates what I'm supposed to believe.
Exactly.
And I must destroy you, but I still love you, so I can't kill you.
It's the brainwashing it, but going clockwise, and now he's trying to respin it counter, and he's upset with himself.
Good point.
No, it doesn't go that way. The Coriolis effect. We're in the northern hemisphere. It only goes clockwise.
But I mean the thing with the napkin, with the handkerchief, and the stuff with him and Oscar having those conversations, because he's not it's not that he's, I gotta say this, he's not a intelligent man. He is somewhat of a smart man, but he's not that smart. So Oscar can get the best of him. You believe that he can get the best of him, and I think that's a very difficult role to play for someone like Ralph Fiennes, who radiates that kind of intelligence. To have him play that character in a way that's just semi-dumb in certain ways, but in other ways so very clear about what he's doing. You know?
But he's already been manipulated to this degree by the propaganda from Goering and everybody else. Yeah, to get you to this point. So it's just like, okay, well, if you can fall victim to that, then the influence of another strong individual like Oscar Schindler, you could fall victim to that. I mean, when he's just sitting up on his deck and callously picking off people with his rifle, and just casually smoking a cigarette and then putting the cigarette down and going back to the scope. Just I mean,
yes, to me, psychopathy is him going after them on purpose and enjoying. For him, I think he's more of a sociopath in that it's just a game to him and they don't matter.
Well, it's divorced of emotion.
Yeah, exactly. Totally divorced of emotion. Doesn't see them as human. Yeah. So,
yeah, they're beyond lesser than. They're not even worthy of consideration.
Yeah.
And that is a incredibly fucked up place to exist in, where you can see your fellow man and be like, nope, we're not the same. Like, really? What is the difference?
I think that's what I feel encouraged about, the midterms, because I thought that's what essentially, I don't want to get political, but like, I thought that's what we were sliding into as a country. And I feel like the way things went down, although it didn't 100% go the way that I was hoping it would go, I still feel like I come out with a little more hope than I thought, because we've become so, I mean, look, and me too, I would totally dial into this. We become so tribal that we start to remove the humanity of the other side, yet somehow go to church. I don't know how you can connect those two, but we remove the humanity of the other side and essentially turn them into that lesser than, not human, not real, irrelevant to your life, or something you don't need to listen to. And that's what I was afraid we were kind of sliding into. And I think it's coming out of the midterms, and they're still up in the air a little bit about who's in control of what. I was surprised at how the fight back happened, and I appreciated that. And so I'm hoping that's something positive that could stem the tide of where I feel we were going, and because I think we were heading towards that kind of thing that you see in Schindler's List, and that's really scary. Because I don't ever want us to get to that place. So, just a little diatribe there.
Yeah, but I mean, people are people, so it's entirely possible that we could have the same cognitive dissonance again.
Yeah. I think that's why we have to be hyper aware to make sure that doesn't happen. All right, well, there we go. That's our top 10 movies of Ralph Fiennes. We're going to put this list together and count it down. There is our final list. I'm grabbing the bongos. Les bongos.
Schindler's. They could probably go Schindler's Grand Budapest.
Potter? No.
Sure. Deathly Hallows 2. Where do you have Quiz Show?
I have Quiz Show at 6. I have Constant Gardener at 4.
All right, so I think it goes Quiz Show, then Constant Gardener.
Okay.
Because that's 3-6 versus 4-5.
Gotcha.
And Prince of Egypt is 6-5?
Yeah.
All right, so Prince of Egypt next.
Okay, so where are we at number-wise?
That's 1 through 6.
Okay. I'd like to get my number 3 on there.
What's your 3?
English Patient?
Sure. I mean,
we're pretty low.
All right, so then I would say we both have Red Dragon at 7. I'll put that at 8.
Yeah, okay.
And then do we both have In Bruges?
I thought we had In Bruges. Yeah, I got him at 8. Yeah.
All right, so that becomes 9.
Okay.
So then I don't think we have anything else in common. So then what's your next highest? Mine's 9.
I don't. Let's see. We've got Schindler's List, Grand Budapest, English Patient, Constant Gardener, Prince of Egypt, Quiz Show, Red Dragon, and Bruges. Yeah, Strange Days at 10. So if you've got something higher than 10, it's yours.
I put Skyfall, so we'll put Skyfall there.
We'll do it.
Easy peasy.
All right, let's do this thing. The top 10 Ralph Fiennes movies. Yeah. At number 10.
Skyfall.
At number 9.
In Bruges.
At number 8.
The Red Dragon.
At number 7.
The English Patient.
At number 6.
The Prince of Egypt.
At number 5.
The Constant Gardener.
At number 4.
Quiz Show.
At number 3.
The Deathly Hallows Part 2.
At number 2.
The Grand Budapest Hotel.
And our number 1 Ralph Fiennes movie is
Schindler's List.
Schindler's List. Enjoy the bongos, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how much longer I'll be able to do them from the house because I don't know who's going to move in next door to us. People moved out who didn't mind the bongos, and I don't know if new neighbors will mind the bongos. We shall see. Hopefully not, but I'm trying to prepare myself for everything mentally because you never know how much people can deal with a guy who records a bunch of YouTube shows out of his office right next to a window that can probably be heard in their kitchen. So I have to be aware of that.
Is there distance between the window and their place?
There's distance to me. Yeah, the window, there's like maybe 3-4 feet to the fence, and then 3 feet after that, 3-4 feet after to the house. But we were able to hear them in their kitchen at times. So I hope so I just kind of prepare for that mentally. So we'll see.
That's surprising.
I don't know. Maybe maybe not. We'll see.
Maybe they're just loud people.
Could be.
Well, you got 6 feet with 2 walls. That seems kind of surprising that you could hear them that regularly.
Okay. I mean, you might be right, dude. You might be right.
Or it's a sign of how shittily they made those places, and the walls are just paper thin. And I can't imagine, though. You live in a good area.
So. Yeah, we do. All right. Well, there we go. That's our list here. Thank you all so much for joining us, who joined us live. We appreciate it. Paul Cree and James Petty and Matthew Hasso and Drew Enns. You guys are awesome. To everyone who is a $10 and above patron, thanks very much for listening. You can always watch this, even if you can't join us live, if you're a $10 and above patron, because you get the unlisted link. So you can always watch it before the Tuesday drop. So just let you all know if you're $10 and above. Matt, what else do we have to tell our fine folks?
Well, you or anybody can watch this over at youtube.com/top 10 podcast with the number 10. And so hit us up over there. Otherwise, on Twitter, it's at top 10 show, all spelled out. And if you'd like to watch live, head over to patreon.com/the top 10 with the number 10. and join us over there. And you can follow me anywhere at Matt Knost. Check out my other show, Settle the Score. You can search for that anywhere you get podcasts or on YouTube. It is youtube.com/Matt Knost. So please come join us over there.
Yeah, that's for me. You can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. The Outlaw Nation on Twitch. My YouTube channel, youtube.com/John Rocha Says. And all the podcasts I do, the Cinephiles, the Geek Buddies, the Hot Mic, those are out there for you all. And as I said earlier, I've created my own sports channel and my own wrestling channel. So go and find Game Time Sports channel on YouTube and the Strong Styles Wrestling channel on YouTube if you want to see more of what we got going on there. All right, that's it. Y'all take care of yourselves. Be well, and we'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode of the Top 10. Peace.
Doodle.